The town hall building that we're in right now, the one that staff currently occupies, was built in the 1950s. At that time it served not only as the town hall offices, but as the courthouse. The council chambers served as chambers for the court. It also was the former jail. Our offices on the other side of the building actually still have remnants of that jail. It was also the firehouse, so there was a fire truck parked in this building. In the 1990s, there was a renovation done on the south side of the building that turned those jail cells and fire bays into offices. And then in the early 2000s, there was a renovation done to the council chambers, which significantly upgraded that and brought in all the audio video that you would expect of a modern council chambers. A lot of the systems that we have now are not necessarily original, but still extremely old. Our HVAC, for example, that is on the roof is over 40 years old. So counting backwards, we're talking 80s, 70s when last work was done. Since probably the last 20 years, the Band-Aid approach has been the approach. There's a lot of people who talk to us about, well, give it some more time, just make repairs over time. That's what we've been doing for 20 years, and we're now at the point where all those Band-Aid fixes are culminating in a point where something dramatic has to be done. We have investments that we need to make in the current building or to move on to something new. We need a new roof. The foundation not only has sunk on both sides of the building, but is cracking, and our plumbing that's in and under that foundation is therefore failing. I think this is a good one. You can see our note that we've tried to mark how long the distance is in this crack, and it's only expanding. This is the Public Works Director's office, and as his side of the building was sinking when we had the settling issues, on the other side of this wall was a bathroom. And literally, if you looked at the bottom of his wall, you could see light coming through from his room to the bathroom based on the structural settling of the building. You could literally look out the bottom of her wall and see daylight coming through the wall. So she has had a dramatically improved situation since we jacked the building back up. This is the main entrance. Is actually where a lot of the plumbing comes out of the building and then heads to a sewer drain that way. This section of concrete, I would say in my 12 years here, we've probably torn up different sections at least 8 or 9 times based on plumbing failure, roots into lines. One of our bathrooms is always out. We've invested a lot of money in trying to make spot repairs to that, but as the building continues to settle, it's only going to continue. This is one of the 3 bathrooms in Town Hall, all single person stalls. We've had, once again, the tile issues here, but also along the edge here, there's a lot of cracking. We've had to do a lot of renovation to this bathroom with all the plumbing issues we've had. We have a number of floors in the building that are covered in asbestos tile. Within the last 3 years, we did a take up of a lot of those, abated the asbestos, put down new flooring, but there are other areas of Town Hall where carpet is covering that cracked asbestos flooring, and that's not illegal, that's not necessarily dangerous, it's contained, but it is an environmental concern if we want to do renovations or upgrade the building. We do have a roof that is leaking, actively leaks right over our administrative assistant in planning. We keep a plant under that leak to try to take advantage of the leak and water the plant, but obviously we have a lot of mold concerns when it comes to that particular issue. We have a flat roof on the building that we're in right now with interior gutters, not exterior gutters, and that causes a lot of problems. Throughout the entire building we have a lot of black, I don't know whether it's mold or just mildew, but it's based on the fact that that water needs somewhere to go and it rolls off onto the building and obviously then flows onto the exterior of the building rather than flowing through the gutters and out like it should. Maybe seems like a small issue, but if that builds up over time, we all know the damage that water can do over time. Electrical, we constantly break breakers. The system that we have within Town Hall just does not meet the needs of a modern building and a modern staff. This is the council chambers, and even though it was renovated in 2000, it has, in my mind, three fundamental design flaws that make it either difficult to use or non-usable for certain folks. As you can see, the council dais only has stairs going up to it, and what that means is if someone who had a disability were to be elected to council or just needed to access the dais, we would be non-compliant for our Americans with Disabilities Act. The second issue is all the audio visual. See all the mics on top of the dais, they tie into that TV room. The problem is, no one, when they built the building and built this renovation, built us an access hatch to those audio visual components that are underneath the dais. So as they've gone bad, we have no way to fix them without actually tearing up the dais or cutting a hole within the dais. The third issue is has to do with heating and air conditioning. The thermostat setter is located within this closet, which seems really convenient. The unfortunate part is that the temperature gauge is also within the closet. So if we keep this door closed, the sensor only recognizes what the temperature is within the closet and not within the room. So as the temperature is a reasonable temperature, people come into the room, it gets hotter and hotter, that temperature gauge does not recognize it, and so the heating and air conditioning does not work appropriately. At council meetings, we have to do the meeting with the door opened so that everyone looking online and watching us from home gets to see our storage closet or coat closet during the meetings. The area we're in now is one of the main entrances to Town Hall. Goes back to that point of being a somewhat confusing building. This is a nice lobby. It might make some level of sense that taxes and license treasurer are that way, but what's down that hall? We don't quite know where to go. You add on top of that that now our public works staff, because we've outgrown the building, are in the old firehouse across the street. It just adds to another level of confusion for a citizen as they come into the building. And then just from a staff perspective, it doesn't function either. So the layout as it stands right now is very inefficient for our staff. It's not functional. They're in a properly laid out building. There are a lot of proximity efficiencies you can gain by putting people close to each other who work together regularly. Right now, it's just not the case, and we could move people around, but the way the building is laid out doesn't allow for maximum efficiency. I do think this is a good time. The town is in a remarkably strong financial position, and that's really helpful in what allows us to move forward with this. We have a piece of property that we can build on without disturbing current operations. Yes, we'll still be in a building that's not functional, as we've described before, but we won't disturb our operations, and we'll be able to keep people and be able to serve the public just like we are right now.